Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. It is muskox season. I mean, it's blustery out there. It's gray, but it's March Madness, and there's no better way to feel comfortable about your team situation, the game you're going to, the game you're going to be watching at friend's house. Wear a Muskox flannel. You look good. You look the part. You'll feel good. The vibes will be good. It will help the vibes. I've got my eyes on this Grand Flannel Dust Blue. I think it'll make my eyes pop, and I think it's going to be my next order from Muskox. Go to gomuskox.com. You can look at their entire selection, some of the stuff that's going out, that's kind of on its last legs. It's some great stuff at good discounts. Also new arrivals, hats, and tees as well. And if you're going to buy a Muskox flannel at gomuskox.com, you can use the promo code PEACOCK for $15 off your flannel purchase. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Why don't you write something? Why don't you write something, huh? Why don't you write something? People are nuts. I'm not nuts. They're nuts. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft.
Let's go green, go God.
Let's go green, go God. What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Yeah, whatever.
Huh.
This weather blows. The only upside is this Muskox flannel.
Yeah.
And 9:45 on Friday. Woo! It's close to my bedtime, man.
Do you mind the 9:45?
No, on a Friday, who cares?
Yeah,
I'll complain about it, but I'm old. Like, no one cares about my old ass. Like, what I got to do to prepare myself for a nice 7.5, 8 hours of sleep. Like, no one gives a shit.
The Friday night,
and rightfully so.
You know? The Friday night saves it. Like, if it's a Sunday night, or like I've always not liked how late some things start on like weeknights with kids who want to get and stuff. But
isn't there a 10 o'clock game on Thursday?
That's not as great.
Yeah, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. But they're trying to do it for the West Coast. We got too many time zones in this country. We should probably get rid of some of them. Just make it one time zone, you know? It's a little dark when you get up. It's a little dark.
It's the only thing you agree with Trump on?
Is that what he wants, one time zone?
I thought so. I thought he wanted to get rid of all of it.
I need to reimagine my opinion. That the only thing for me, and this is a small complaint, and this is not really a complaint, is if Michigan State were to lose, maybe anyway, I've got a 6-hour drive up to Worcester for a hockey game potentially the next day.
Wow.
And so I would love not to be working till 5, 6 in the morning, but that's a small complaint. This is a fun time of year. You'll sleep when you're dead, which I hope is
you'll have
next week.
The next couple months to slack off, and
there you go.
Have July takes and all that.
Yes, we'll do all that.
All the way to Worcester, man.
Worcester. Yeah. You know who? 2 people from Worcester, Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Dennis Leary, Conan O'Brien.
The only 2?
No, I just saw they were on. Leary was on Conan's podcast, and they were talking about it. Just thought I'd share that.
So you thought you'd save that little note and bring it up on the show?
I've had that written down forever. Yeah, I found that in a file. With
you could not find that anywhere on the internet.
No,
those 2 guys are from Worcester.
Found it in a.
Hey, did you know?
Found in a file with some Halo Sport gift cards.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah, it was,
Jesus. Anyway,
all right. Well, let's a lot of stuff to dig into.
Is there?
I think so.
Pound the bushes.
It was. Look, it was funny watching the Michigan State game in Buffalo because there's sort of everything you think this, and really the 2 games in Buffalo. They are exactly what they always are when things go well. Somebody plays really well outside of Jeremy Fears. In the first game, Carson Cooper's this 20-10 guy, right? Now, they overmatched North Dakota State, and that was pretty clear pretty quickly. And then when they play Louisville, it's this incredible game from Coen Carr, who has 21 points and 10 rebounds for the first time and looks like the rebounder they've always wanted to be and just changes the game athletically in a lot of ways. And, yeah, he hit threes and all that, but just looked like a force out there, which he doesn't always do. And Trey Fort obviously had a good game and all this. And then there was Jeremy Fears, who had 16 assists and did it again. There's always another guy. There's always a couple other guys. And I think what makes Michigan State, and we've talked about this a lot, so dangerous, but also a team that makes their fans nervous going into this weekend is, Carson Cooper, great game 1, not great game 2, right? Coen Carr, amazing against Louisville. What will he be against Yukon? Like, there's this, somebody is usually there, but what if they aren't? And then also, what happens if 2 or 3 of these guys have the big game together? How great can they be? There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of it's a group of guys that you can't really trust entirely to have that game or be a great player on a given day, but they can do it. And I think it's part
tough
of the
to
DNA.
trust a guy like Trey Fort when you haven't seen it all season long, and now he's doing it the past 2 games. It's just unbelievable to see that. But yeah, but it's also kind of annoying as a fan because you don't know who's gonna.
Right, and as long as you know somebody's going to do it and they take advantage of the matchup or the moment or whatever, that's great.
I did not see Coen Carr going 2 for 4 from 3 though against Louisville. I didn't see it, but
and it's the fact that was
a nice surprise.
I think the thing for him that shouldn't be the case is that was his first 10 rebound game of his career. Guy like that should have 10 rebounds 4 or 5 times a season. And I mean, because he's got an ability to go get the ball that a lot of guys don't have, right?
It's a cold day in hell before I give up on Coen Carr.
So what you have to hope is there's a guy he had 17 points. There's a little consistency there. 17 points in the first game, and that was a game they didn't need him as much. And then 21. So maybe Coen Carr is a guy recognizing the moment, and he doesn't 2 for 4 from 3 is great, and it makes a difference. It could be the difference in a game, but ultimately what you need from him that stuff's a little less controllable. You need that sort of fire defensively. I mean, he was tremendous on Conwell, and then
10 rebounds, 9 of those defensive rebounds.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, but Aaron Henry had a little of this. MSU's had other guys who have had this. But when you have a certain level of athleticism that sort of changes everything around you because you're just something else the other team has to deal with. Their best shooting guard was playing on one leg a little bit too, but he was pestered by Coen Carr all day, and it was a pain in the ass. I think Coen Carr, he's not always the smoothest guy in the half court. There are times where I think the best lineups haven't sometimes included him. Sometimes I've seen Kerr Tang, Jordan Scott lineups throughout the season that I thought, boy, that's a really effective group with the 2 big guys and Fears. But when that version of Carr shows up, it's just Michigan State's ceiling gets higher because they become more athletically dominant. The Trey Fort story, though, is it's really interesting to watch, and you have to feel good for a guy who had a miserable year and wasn't a malcontent, didn't and I know it was a frustrating year for him, but you didn't hear anything about him leaving the team or, the only story on him all year was about him giving away, free meals to homeless people or people in need at the holidays, right? That's the only story on him all year because he didn't really do anything on the court. But if that's your story when you're having a negative year, you take it as a guy who's not on the bench. It just the year did not work out for him. And you could tell even late in the year when he was out there, he was looking over his shoulder. The coaches didn't really trust him. He wasn't in a flow. But that UCLA game, the Big Ten tournament, ain't worth much. But if it gave Michigan State Coen Carr, the Big Ten tournament ain't worth much, but if it gave Michigan State Trey Fort, then that was worth playing that game. That was worth the loss and the struggles against UCLA. Because that game, he doesn't play if everything's going well. It doesn't play that role. He got an opportunity because they were desperate to find something. He came in, played pretty well. They gave him another opportunity, played pretty well against North Dakota State. Then he played his best game against Louisville. And he looks like a guy who's just full of confidence. And the big difference between him now and 3-4 months ago is that he also looks like a guy who's not just going to fire up any shot at any moment whenever he wants to. He looks like a guy who kind of understands how to do things within the offense, how to be a system guy, but still a spark, how to be how to make it all work. And this is why a guy like that, you wish had a second year, because it took him a long time to figure it out. And that's, I guess, when Michigan State's bringing in 1-year transfers and how guys fit, it's something for Izzo to consider. And with a guy like Trey Fort, that was always a possibility because he's not good enough, I don't think. He's still not good enough to be like a volume shooting 2-guard at the Big Ten level, at the high NCAA tournament level. But he's really good as a spark plug player. He's worth having on your team. He's worth recruiting. But he's probably not worth bringing in unless he helps deliver you to the Final Four if it's going to take this long. But, yeah, it's an incredible story with him. And still don't think he should be the backup point guard. Which
even with Dunham with his torn little rotator thing.
He's had that for a little bit. He's been dinged up shoulder.
I know, but should he be handling that? I mean, just let Trey do it, but okay.
Well, I mean,
it's okay. No,
keep it going. Okay. I mean, the problem is Trey Fort's not a point guard. So, I mean, do you want, I don't think Jared Goff's the best quarterback, but I don't want Penei Sewell playing quarterback because he's not a fucking quarterback.
That's your argument? You don't want Penei Sewell being a quarterback? Okay,
I'm just saying.
I can't fuck with that. You win.
I'm just saying there.
You know what? Denim Wojcik he deserves more than three minutes a game. Then now that since that example you gave me, you turned me. I love the Denim Wojcik. The argument from you, it just comes with an absurd amount of just this crazy argument. It's like, okay, my bad. I just feel like Trey Fort could run the point guard for 3 minutes. I just feel that way. Well, you don't have to come up with some analogy that's just so far-fetched.
So here's where the only way it would get interesting to really know what they thought and what was best is if something happened to Jeremy Fears, like extreme foul trouble or a turned ankle or something that's not good anyway, where you had to rely on. They're not going to get. First of all, Trey Fort is in an incredibly good headspace right now.
It's a long way to go to prove a point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes,
have Fears roll an ankle. See, I told you. Oh man, that feels great being right.
No. They're not going to mess with. First of all, Jordan Scott right now is a little in over his skis trying to figure it out after his first weekend in the NCAA tournament. Apparently,
he's thinking about Dominic being a stepdad. Jesus, fucked up his mind.
Izzo was saying today that that Jordan Scott was mad at himself for the first weekend, and that he had wide eyes, no doubt. So you're not turning to Jordan Scott in the Sweet 16 as your point guard, right? Let's say that's out.
All right.
And Trey Fort, who has this incredible thing going for himself right now, he's got some confidence. He's got a ton of mojo in the role he's in, playing next to Fears or next to Denim Wojcik. I don't think you want to mess with that right now. So the only way you would ever reevaluate something is if you needed a longer stretch than what you're doing with Wojcik at this point. It is what it is. People can hate it, they can love it. Again, I'll say straight up, if he was not a white guy, you'd think a little differently of him. That's just my own thought, my own take. And these are my own biases coming back. I go back to when I was a 15-year-old kid, and Izzo would put Steve Polanowski in the game, and I hated it. I didn't know what the hell he was doing. And yet, if Steve Polanowski looked like Andre Hudson, I would have been okay with it. I 100%. Psychologically, we struggle with that stuff. We always do that. It's why we don't compare Joey Hauser to somebody he's actually like. We compare him to Larry Bird because he's white. It's a
just Ebeling, I think, did that, didn't he?
It's a psychological thing. We struggle to get over. Whatever. It's human nature. I'm just saying. That's the Denim Wojcik take for the day. Do you have a take?
By the way, I had one of the biggest bake takes of all time last night. Right. I'm so glad I didn't tweet it out or anything. But during the first half of the UCLA Yukon game, I'm like, you sure we want to play Yukon? I think I'd rather play Yukon than UCLA. Obviously, the final score tells a different story. More scared of Yukon now that I woke up and I'm not baked anymore. But by God, was that a big take? I'm sitting there why am I scared of Cronin? What is happening? That's why I'm glad I put the phone down now. Certain point of the night, you just put the phone down.
Yeah.
You don't need to tweet. You don't need to see it. Yeah.
No, I wish
there was take that is,
I wish there was an app or a setting on Twitter where maybe it follows, a certain number of MGs or a certain amount of whiskey, whatever it might be. But either way, you put it on, it's almost like you protect yourself where you can tweet, but it actually goes into a draft folder, and you have to look at that tweet the next morning to see if you still agree with it.
There's no repercussions,
Right. Yeah. It just does. It just saves you from yourself. I wouldn't.
I mean, it wasn't going to be the worst tweet of all time. I don't know if I needed the parameters put on my phone like that to stop things, but yeah, I'm glad. I'm not scared of UConn.
There are other people here who are not scared of UConn too. Do you have anything else?
Let's go. Let's
hold on. A couple more. I have one more take. One more take before we get this. MSU hockey, by the way, number 1 seed in the Worcester region, right? We talked about.
Let's go green. Go God.
More and more people are getting on this train of how ridiculous the NCAA hockey tournament is. You have all these teams. You have Michigan State and Worcester. You have Michigan and Albany. You have like Western out in Loveland. Nobody's anywhere near home. The top 1 seeds are all like spread out in the East and West. Now, some of that's the fault of Michigan State, Michigan, all that. Like Van Andel and Grand Rapids could bid to be a host region, and teams would be here, and they're not doing it. So, like, people could bid to host, and they could find ways to have it here, and it's not happening. But more and more people are starting to realize, well, why aren't the top seeds hosting? You're just seeing it more and more. And I wrote this column 2 years ago. I'm going to write it sort of again this week to some degree.
Same one, just copy paste.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to. It's got until they do it, even if they have to think they thought of it. It's so ridiculous not to have 2 rounds, best of 3, and the number 1 seed host. You could do it where the number 1 seed hosted 4 teams and hosted the whole thing and did it in one weekend like they do now. That would be better to some degree because it would give the number 1 seed home ice at least. It still shouldn't be single elimination. And you have the extra weekend. You take the weekend off for the Final Four, and you act like that's some big thing that could be in the way. The Final Four has fewer teams and not any more interest than the Elite. The Elite 8 is an enormous thing. The Sweet 16 is an enormous thing. You don't mind playing up against that. You've got games at 1:30 on a Thursday. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Michigan State plays 1:30 on a Thursday in hockey. Like, what? Like, okay. There's so many things you don't know what you're doing here, but the key is listen to the voices. Listen to the people who are telling you.
I feel like no one is, though.
A lot of people are online. A lot of the hockey people are starting to say best.
But I feel like we say this every year. It's like with the weather going too far into March and April. Every March and April, we bitch about the weather. It's like, construction. It's like, oh, man, till November, 127 South is going to be blocked off here. You're like, fuck this. So the same thing happens with college hockey every year. Every time we've done this show, I feel like the same thing, the comments or whatever. Why aren't we trying to make a step forward, like some sort of progress for it? Because there's no money in it. That's why, because no one wants to do it.
There's no money.
There's no money in it.
The problem for college hockey.
It's a beautiful sport, but guess what? College hockey, there's no money to do. The people would be on it already.
But it doesn't cost a lot to have a top seeds host, and that's why it makes sense. It's not like you're saying let's do something more expensive.
All right.
How
do we fix it?
Well, what needs to happen, unfortunately, and this is not what Michigan State wants to happen or anybody, but all 4 number 1 seeds need to lose in the first round. And these ridiculously bad bounce situations, they need to do something.
You guys go first.
Something that discredits the national championship entirely by losing all the top seeds who played the whole damn year.
Why does it have to get to that, though?
Because people at the top aren't bright enough or don't have the will to do what needs to be done. That's all. I'm not saying that they probably are bright. But there is a reason. And
can't we strap a fake bomb to Neil Koepke and like wheel him into some organization that makes the decisions for the college hockey thing, right? And say we're going to blow up Neil Koepke in front of this building right now. Not for real though, right? I mean, that would get people. Yeah, it would get people's attention.
That would do it. Blowing up Neil Koepke. Threatening.
We don't have to. Not really. We wouldn't have to. Right. We just all have to play along like we're going to blow up Neil. We don't tell Neil either. Like, for a fact.
Well, Neil might have a heart attack then. You can't. Well, you got to tell Neil. Neil can act. I think Neil can method act. I think we tell Neil. Neil goes in with a fake bomb strapped to himself, knowing we're not actually blowing him up.
Graham, tell the kids at home who Neil Koepke is.
Neil Koepke is the hockey savant, historian, huge college hockey guy. Anyway, he covered Michigan State hockey for the Lansing State Journal for years and years and years, and he's around the program still and around college hockey, since like the mid-'80s. He's a guy like the Super Bowl will be on, and Neil Koepke's streaming like 4 different college hockey games instead. Like that's who Neil Koepke is. Yeah. All right, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Let's jump into these listener takes.
All right, up first, Eric Schultz up first. Number 1, got to be happy anytime you make the second weekend. And 2, no chance of beating Yukon if we get another no-show from Cooper, and if Kohler struggles to hit wide open threes again.
He missed a couple. Kohler missed like 2 threes that really could have blown it open. It was like 7 points that would have put it to 10. Like just those sort of threes that changed the game. He also hit a couple that affected the game well. And so, but yeah, if he could just hit one of those, I thought he played okay. Cooper did not play as well, and I don't know if it was the matchup and the size or whatever. But yeah, Cooper did not have his best game. This is an important game for Cooper. It's a tricky. I don't know. It's a tricky matchup in a lot of ways because Caravan, if you haven't seen, he's like this. I guess he's only 6'8". I've always thought he was taller than that, but he's
But Izzo said he's 6'8", right?
Izzo says he's 6'8". Yeah. And his roster says he's 6'8". So who am I to think he's taller? But he's, I don't know. He obviously had 27 the other night, but he's a really difficult matchup. You have to have a guy who's big enough to deal with him, but can also, guard, so to speak. And then, Terrace Reed is, people are familiar with him, but he's gotten a lot better. And he's 6'10", 260 inside. So you can't just, I think Cooper's going to have to deal with Carabin originally, or at some point. I think you're going to see Cam Ward on him. I think you'll see some Coen Carr on him. It'll be very interesting how they handle him and what that looks like. I think Coen Carr is actually a really interesting matchup for him, even though he gives up some inches.
Dominic next. Number 1, if Nate Oates ends Michigan season, I will forgive Bama for the 2024 Rose Bowl. And 2, Graham, Michigan State is 2 wins away from you buying dinner for me in Indy. And bring Rex Road, too, also on your dime. Things we cannot discuss at dinner. Christy Winters, Scott and I's potential romance. What Brian Windhorst did to Joe. And stairwells in 2005 Kalamazoo. And 3, Graham, the Christy Winters Scott crush was in jest, and it was going to be a one-time thing. That said, you were so unhelpful and unwilling to facilitate that, I'll probably end up marrying her. Rube and T can come. You can deliver donuts. Maybe. Live read starts now.
Donuts at a wedding, underrated. Groovy donuts at a wedding, even better. We had donuts at our wedding before Groovy Donuts. Groovy Donuts might have just started, but we didn't know about them at the time.
You should have.
And people still talk about the donuts. We had good donuts at a wedding from a great place in Kalamazoo that's a classic. But you know what? Sweetwater's is not. It is not Groovy Donuts. And people will remember your wedding if you have Groovy Donuts at your wedding. Just want to point that out.
Spartan 18770 next. Number 1, in this ultra fast-paced society that we live in, the greatness of March Madness is that it forces us fans to live in the moment. The final minute of the Iowa versus Florida game was magic. And 2, the real reason why the Michigan fan base hates Izzo is not because of his success against Michigan. It's the fact that Tom and Michigan State garner so much positive national attention every year. That is something those incels cannot stand. And 3, the worst part of this tournament every year is that every shitty little asshat with a podcast thinks we need to hear their idiotic takes about Izzo.
Is that, you talking about us?
No. I think he's talking about the every shitty little asshat podcast.
Well, you don't have to listen to them. That's the thing.
Yeah, we need names.
Yeah. Yesterday, you know how you've always made fun of my TV setup. Yesterday was one of those days where I realized I need to improve.
Why? What happened after all these years?
So at the end, Iowa, Florida. So I'm writing a quick takes column off the MSU women's game, and missing Iowa, Florida. Just because I don't have a multi TV setup, I could have set one up. I could easily move one TV, but I could
bring out the monitor.
I had to go back and watch it later. I didn't.
So what?
Well, I just didn't get to experience it live. I think
after all of that, you finally realized you need a better TV setup.
That was the first moment where I was really just annoyed. I looked at it's always been okay. I can flip back and forth, or I bring 2 out when I need to. I just didn't have it in the moment. Things were going down in the game, and I was not, set up to do it. And then to be fair to, this is why old school cable's still better. When you're streaming, you don't go as fast back and forth. It's just not as quick to do back and forth, which is slightly annoying.
Was your brain scanning whether or not you should do Xfinity Live Read or not? You're the best. Mara tries AI next. Fears had 16 assists, and people were saying he had a bad game. He hears the noise and drops 20 and 20.
It does feel like he's due for a 20-assist game somehow, because every game.
So how about those odds we were talking about last week? Oh, and by the way, your odds for your 10-point tease. I had multiple people text me after the show last Friday. And we're like, you realize he could just bet the money line on those games?
No, the tease is better than the money line.
Slightly. It's not.
It is.
It can't be.
It is.
It can't be. It can't be.
Well, because you don't get it. So I'll give you a reason why.
If you took every 3-leg 10.5, every team that was 10.5 point favorites, right?
No, 10. Yeah, you
did a 10-point tease on it.
So
it'd be minus 130 if you took all those in a straight money line.
Because they're not all exactly that. So here's the problem. Number one, you would have lost because you had Florida in that, right? So Florida is where, and I lost, and probably a lot of people who did that lost. But if you had, the part of the problem was some of them didn't take it all the way down. It took it to like 2.5. Like Arizona was still like a 10-point tease brought it to 2.5. It wasn't the full money line. It was, The money. Look, you don't think I've gamed this out? You think I'm some novice here?
I'm just telling you what people were texting me after the show. Yeah, and we were talking about the Fear's 20+ assists or something like that. What that number would be?
You're talking to a guy who damn near failed geometry because he's running the gambling pool in the back there. I know what the odds were. All right.
Oh, my bad. So sorry to fact check you ever on this show. Some dude, number one, seems to me that Izzo is never going to quit this job. I actually think he's going to die trying, even if he gets the second natty. Not like during a game or any time in the near future. He just seems to love it too much to leave. And two, my hot take is that Izzo is using Wojcik in the perfect way. I think Fears needs a couple of minutes on the bench as much for a mental rest as a physical one. God forbid they want to coach him directly a little bit. It's nerve-wracking because he's just not that good, but Fort and Scott would do worse than Denham in that role.
Yeah, the situation is what it is at this point. Like, I don't think there's a better choice. I don't think there's a better way to handle it. They're pretty quick with getting Jeremy Fears back out there. And I don't think Denham Wojcik is that is causing that many issues. Does he continue your momentum? Does he do the things Fears can do? No. They don't have a guy like that. And that's the one thing that when they lose Ugochukwu is he would have games where you'd really see. Now, they didn't trust him entirely in that realm either, but you would see some real upside. You would see him do some things that Denham Wojcik can't do. But I think they're using him the way they should use him right now.
By the way, Izzo is just loving what's happening, right? Like, I was watching his presser today before the show. Everybody, he's getting his ass kissed, right? Everybody, Barkley's up there, Clark Kellogg goes all. That's Barkley's new bit. He just pick a coach, insert coach here, and he's the greatest coach of all time, and I think he's the greatest coach, which he deserves. Izzo deserves it, but to answer the question of Izzo giving this up, like, why would he want to? Yeah, he has to deal with us during the season and all this doubt and shit, but when you get to March, you get your ass kissed. It must be amazing.
And he loves it. You're right. And like the national,
what else is he going to do?
The national pundits, especially those who aren't that informed, and this is not to say that Izzo's not a good coach, and that's why they choose. But he's a huge name, and he's a guy who knows how to play to the media too, and knows how to play to those guys. And so they
Can you imagine if he smoked a cigarette at a presser? People would lose their shit. Can you believe this?
They like him. They like the way he coaches. The old school guys love the way he coaches. But also, I think part of why Izzo's having so much fun now, and you could see is there is, and I led my column with this. There is a part of him that is always going to be back in 1998. That's always going to be the assistant for Judd. That the idea of getting to the Sweet 16 is a big deal. It's sort of where he came from, how hard it was to do that for so long, what that meant when you get there in 1990, what that meant in 86, what that meant in 98. The teams that didn't get there. Like, it's a big deal. And he also understands how much that elevates you. It's a whole nother week of publicity. It's a whole nother week of because the tournament pauses. And now you just talk about those 16 teams and those coaches and those programs. And so it really, the difference between getting to a second round and a Sweet 16 is much bigger than from a Sweet 16 to an Elite 8 because there's this pause. And it's one of the cool things about the NCAA tournament, especially back in the day when a mid-major could get to the Sweet 16, is the tournament that, again, it has many different championships. The national championship is the ultimate championship. The Final Four, and the reason everybody hangs a banner for that, is a really big deal. But to some schools, the Sweet 16 is a big deal. Mid-major, my sister was at Butler in Indianapolis the first time they made a Sweet 16, and it was damn near a parade on campus when they came home from that, right? And that was a really big
Nebraska.
Yeah, so you get these moments to celebrate within the tournament, and the Sweet 16 is still to this day and I know a lot of people expect it, and Michigan State's been there 17 times and all that, but I think to Izzo, there's a part of him that's still, back 30 years ago.
So as a sports writer, would you rather be recognized nationally or locally? Would you rather be so respected? Meaning you get all the respect from the people locally, the people that know you from this area, or every national pundit is like, Graham does a great job.
You want to be respected by the people who actually know you.
Yeah.
That's what matters, because that's what really is real.
God,
right?
It sounds great to have your ass kissed nationally, though, too. I got to say.
It's not that hard.
You just have to be a Hall of Fame basketball coach.
Or do anything. You just got to kiss other people's ass. They'll kiss your ass back. National people love to backslap each other. It's like this whole thing. It's this battle for relevancy. Keep backslapping.
Local guys like to 69 too. What are you talking about?
We do a little of that.
Yeah. Nathan, number one, the line on Wojcik minutes was always 3.5. Too sharp over here. He's blowing himself. 2, what is it about Trey Fort's shot that lends itself to so many 4-point plays? And 3, this tournament has left me wanting for upsets. Is the day of the upset over with the state of the college game? This was written ahead of the Iowa game.
It's the day of the upset is not over. It's the type of upset. It's the type of underdog that's harder to do. Because even...
Well, now you tell me after my bets a fucking weekend.
Even High Point is like got more than $3 million in NIL. That's not your traditional.
Where are they getting their money from again?
The
High
donor
Point?
base, yeah, huge. They have a lot of money on campus.
Who's the big High Point people? Is that like a big university? I mean,
no, it's a little
degrees?
school, and yeah, I mean, it's a little
like
school.
University of Phoenix?
No, it's a real school, not Phoenix. It's not Grand Canyon.
I heard they play in a palace. High Point.
I've been to High Point in 2005 when I did a story on 2 JUCO ballers. There was a very different school back then, or very different facilities back then. But they've really upped their game, and they've really understood that. Like, I'll give you an example. A guy I know who's on Southern Illinois staff, they played High Point a year ago, and High Point came into Southern Illinois and beat them pretty good. I was surprised, and I was talking to him afterwards, and he's like, yeah, they had double our NIL budget or triple our NIL budget. Like, it's just a different place than you realize. And, I mean, they've got, all sorts of up transfers, and, but so that isn't even the Cinderella it used to be, is what I'm saying. Like, the teams that do beat Wisconsin aren't the little old teams that they once were. And so I don't know that that's ever going to change. You will have some teams that have, there will be some runs. There will be some Cinderella things. There will be some individual years that happen. I would have loved to see that Indiana State team a couple years ago get in the tournament because I think they could have done something. And I do think we need to find new ways to force some scheduling. And that's both ways. And, mid-majors dodge some people too. This isn't, they don't play anybody anywhere, anytime, but neither does Izzo, right? Nobody actually does that. And so if you had like a bracket buster event where high majors and low majors kept open 2 weekends throughout the whole winter, and you played teams that sort of, high majors may play each other. Sometimes it would be more Michigan Duke type stuff to create great matchups. But you would get Indiana and Auburn playing teams that were Miami, Ohio. And so you get to see that matchup ahead of time. You get to see that. There are lots of ways to do it, but that's what I would do if I were trying to at least give more of those schools opportunities to be in the tournament and to be a seed that gives them a chance to make a run.
BPA next. I'm really sorry, but all Wojcik does is dribble to half court, pass, then cut to a corner and stand there. Trey can't do that. It's time for Fort, Scott, and Tang to rotate in there. The Wojcik experiment has to now be officially over because every single possession now matters, and from Max. Clearly, Tom wants me to coach his team. I've been saying for weeks that he should give Trey Fort more time. Obviously, he's listening. Fort is becoming an X factor.
You do wonder if they had gone to Trey Fort a little earlier, out of necessity or whatever.
Bull in a china closet.
If this could have happened earlier. But the other part of this is the timing couldn't be better in a lot of ways. Like, Trey Fort is sort of now this extra piece on a scouting report that people have to deal with. He's playing well. He's playing more. He's giving them a jolt at just the right time, a team that needed a little more at a time where Jordan Scott's kind of struggling. So I think the timing's actually working okay in MSU's favor. It's not the Wojcik experiment. He's the backup point guard. So he was the third string point guard. The second string guy got hurt. He became the backup point guard full go.
Are you mansplaining a backup point guard?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the way it works.
Kentucky didn't have one either, and they look where they are. They're not. I mean, they had a point guard got hurt, and they didn't have an answer there. It's harder to have an answer in this day and age. And I'm not saying you can't do it better than MSU did. Maybe they can. To the question before about also how does Trey Fort get so many 4-point plays, I think it's the way he rises up because he lands on people. Like he gets up high enough, and the way he shoots, I think he comes down, and that's why he gets the foul.
BPA next. No. Witty username. Best take. Way too many people who don't know ball will want to know why a shooting guard wasn't playing point guard earlier in the season. As if the 15 managers, 6 assistant coaches, and the greatest coach of all time couldn't see what they do. It was just a question, though.
Yeah. It's Panay Sewell for
it's
Jared
not.
Goff.
It's not even close to the same thing. It's not. T-Bone's dad. MSU beats Yukon by going small, with Coen Carr at the 4, shutting down Caravan. Then beats Duke with Cooper Kohler containing Boozer straight up, with occasional guards digging down, causing timely turnovers. Those who know ball know that I'm right, Couch.
Be interesting games. I think they got a real shot against Yukon. They're basically a pick 'em on the point spread. Duke looks better, but not unbeatable for sure.
Does Boozer scare you though?
Well, he's the best player in college basketball. Yeah, he was really good. They couldn't stop him in the second. It was the second half. They couldn't stop him at East Lansing. Yeah, I mean, he's really good. The Caravan. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be very interesting. I do like the Carr matchup there a little bit. I think Cam Ward is going to be a part of that as well. And otherwise, I think Izzo thinks they match up okay, but that's a challenge. And the NCAA tournament is really all about matchups. To go through Yukon and maybe Duke, like it's going to be a sweat this weekend for a lot of people. I mean, it's a lot of hearts fluttering, and it's I don't know, man. It's going to be. I enjoy that when the fan base gets like that.
You like it when our hearts flutter?
Yeah, I do.
Since you're dead inside, you have no rooting interest.
I like these sort of weekends. I like when the. I'm sorry. We fix this in post. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I love when you wax poetic, dude.
It was
stare out. You're you're having a sip of coffee, staring out a window. You know what? Hearts are going to be fluttering. This guy, G.E. Miller, the next time MSU turns it over 15 times or allows that many open threes, the season will be over.
I thought they gave up some toward the end, but, there were – Louisville missed some open threes, no question. They take a ridiculous amount. But I thought Michigan State guarded them at the line okay.
I feel like they got a hand up on a lot of threes.
Yeah, that didn't
Ones
seem
that
like
were wide open. How many are we talking? Maybe 3?
Which
is a lot. But
they've got to take care of the ball better, no question. I was watching the Michigan State women last night, for example. That they lose by 6 on the road in a game where I understand you're trying to play up tempo. I understand that's your style of play, but it doesn't mean you don't have to value possessions. And there's some turnovers they still have. You're like, that's going to come back to bite you when they were on the front foot, and it did.
And we said, would somebody please guard somebody?
Ralphie next. Number 1, Louisville was 13 for 37 from 3. Good defense or poor shooting? And 2, does MSU change to Wilson basketballs and practicing for the tournament? And 3 from Friday. It's not Bry cream, it's pronounced Brill cream. It was greasy kid stuff alternative when such bottled hair grease was as Wild Root and Vitalis were popular. They coined a phrase, Brill cream, a little dab will do you. Ancient history for you kids.
I guess so.
It has to be if I don't remember it.
What did you put in your hair when you were a kid? Like when you were in middle school, trying to look slick?
Oh, in middle school?
Yeah, like when you first were trying to care about your appearance.
Whatever gel was the cheapest. Yeah. I'm sure I used my dad's stuff, I think.
I used to put loads of Vidal Sassoon in my hair. It was just ridiculous.
Why loads?
I don't know. I don't know how much. It was my dad hated it because he hated it, especially when I was playing basketball. He preferred your hair flop around when you're on the court, but it was like plastered to my head. I just,
Your dad would rather have your hair floppy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think that's what he was.
Really?
He did not think I looked like a serious basketball player the way I did my hair. I did not love it. And plus, I also, my distinct memory of the Vidal Sassoon is it was one of those things, it was like a spray bottle, right?
Yeah. It's for women, that's why.
Was it? Okay.
Probably.
Probably like Steve Carell where it was the women's suits. I didn't know. I just wore it. Anyway, I just remember it falling open once and spilling out. And to this day, my copy of Les Miserables, the actual novel, is stained with Vidal Sassoon. Yeah, it's anyway.
Dad had more problems than the hairdo.
Yeah, you want to.
Oh boy, what are we in store for? Yeah. Spartholomew, the Big Ten is in fact the best conference in the league. Better not choke it all away this time. And bonus, the Cinderella Madness never left. It just transferred to underperforming Power 4 teams that actually have talent to make a real run.
I don't think Iowa's underperforming. I think they're over. Iowa has some real deficiencies as a roster. He's a great coach there, but I
still can't believe Iowa beat Florida.
I can't either. And physically really matched up with them, which I thought was the most interesting thing. They did not get overmatched there. I thought they were going to get overmatched physically. I thought they could make threes, but and Florida obviously played a pretty stupid game. By the way, I didn't never answer Ralphie's questions. Good defense, poor shooting, 13 for 37. I would say it's a mix. Louisville looked a little leggy as well. And I don't know on the Wilson basketballs whether I'll have to look. Be over at practice later today, but.
Yeah, grab one of those things and bounce it.
Yeah, See how it goes.
Those ones in the tournament were going over people's heads by like
crazy.
5 feet. What are we doing here? Yeah. It's 2026. Why do we? What?
Why do you change the ball from what everybody's using?
Why would anybody need that kind of bounce in a basketball?
Nobody wants
Never
that.
in the history of the life of the world.
If you brought that basketball to a pickup game,
get the fuck out.
We'd choose a different ball.
And get the person out that brought it.
Yep.
Pat Caverly, it's great the Big Ten has 6 teams in the Sweet 16, but if they don't have somebody win it all, it's pretty meaningless.
It's not meaningless because
if you put it that way,
you get a certain amount of teams, and it's pretty obvious your league is especially if you get like 4 in the Elite 8 or something. But
it's pretty meaningless, like he said, though. If they don't, no one wins it.
Because Arizona still might be the best team and win it.
Yeah, but are you going to brag about how the Big Ten had 6 teams in the Sweet 16?
Sure, you should. Because
next year,
there are different ways to look at it. Like, even when the Big Ten's taken a lot of shit, and granted, it's kind of embarrassing that the Big Ten hasn't won a national title in 25 years. But
I was going to say wild, but you say embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. That said, and I talked about this before, did this a few years ago, where I went back and looked at, over a long span of time since then, the number of different Big Ten teams that were being put in the Final Four year over year and Final Four appearances was more than any other league, or at least on par. And so what it said is, and that's a better, I think, way to look at the depth of talent in the league and how good a league is when you're getting a lot of different teams making it to that level. I mean, because otherwise you're saying, well, the ACC is better because Duke won it. Well, Wake Forest doesn't get credit for that. Wake Forest sucks. Why does Wake Forest get credit for Duke being good? They don't. Like the league itself, I'm not saying it's great for the Big Ten. They haven't won one, but, if you're talking about the strength of a league, it's more about what demonstrates how far a lot of different teams are getting, and the Big Ten's been fine there for a long time. And, of course, now the Big Ten as a solution has just gone out and added more teams to have more chances, although none of those teams, to be fair to this Big Ten, are the teams that are left.
I CrossFit a Muskox next. I was kind of wordy name, just saying. I was worried the Big Ten was going to fail spectacularly in the tournament again after Ohio State and Wisconsin lost on day 1. But getting 6 teams into the Sweet 16 is indeed pretty sweet. This has to be the best conference showing in at least a decade.
Yeah, percentage-wise, there are 18 teams now, so it's a third of the league. But there's still only 68 spots now. So how you judge it is back there used to be years where the Big Ten only got 5 teams in the whole tournament, and they only had 11 teams not that long ago. Getting 6 teams is pretty good for the league. Probably says we don't need a Big Ten tournament if you're going to just have a Big Ten tournament in the Sweet 16 anyway.
Yeah, but then how are we going to find out about Trey Fort?
That's true. That's the Big Ten tournament was worth it for Trey Fort. It was worth it for Purdue, who's gotten themselves going, and that's about it. Everybody else is like, all right. Enough.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Sunshine Spartan number 1. My wife and daughter were up in Michigan and visited Groovy Donuts because of how I raved about them. Unfortunately, they went on a Sunday and they were almost out. But because Groovy Donuts felt bad, they gave 2 free donuts. Moral of the story, they loved it, and Groovy Donuts is awesome. And 2, night games are ass. Really? 9:45 start time on Friday?
Groovy Donuts are awesome. Yeah, and I can see that. Yeah, you do want to get there. Like, if you don't order ahead, it's better to get there earlier in the day sometimes, too, because they have more selection. But
so did your wife announce the fact that they were there to get Groovy Donuts? I mean, how would they know to give you donuts? I think it was nice of them to do so.
I think they just felt bad that there weren't.
So they walked in and were like, oh, man, we came all this way.
I don't know. He didn't share that. That's an assumption. I would think not. They might have just said, we don't have a lot left, but here's what we have, and we're going to give you a couple free.
Yeah,
that's a very nice.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get the story. I was just saying, how do you get donuts? Maddie B, number 1, it's weird how everyone tries to diminish Tom for his only championship being 26 years ago. Yet, if it were so easy, why has no other Big Ten team done it? Other coaches with 1 don't get nearly this scrutiny. And 2, every year we get lectured about enjoying this while we have it, as if MSU just becomes a doormat NIT team after Izzo leaves. If that happens, it's a massive failure by everyone in the hiring process if you can't capitalize on his success.
No, it'll be the greatest challenge of Jay Batt's tenure because, assuming Jay Batt's still around, but like hiring Pat Fitzgerald to replace Jonathan Smith is different than whoever you hired to replace Tom Izzo. It's a different level of have to get this right. It's
like Penei Sewell playing quarterback.
and Izzo will want to be involved, and you'll have to navigate that and figure out who fits and what makes the most sense at the time, and the NIL budget and the whole deal. And one thing that I think people learned with Jonathan Smith is fit matters. Well, doesn't mean you have to hire an insider, but fit is important, right? You got to have somebody who fits your university, who fits the program, who probably you don't have to have you don't want an Izzo copycat, but you want somebody who sort of fits what the program has been about. You look at what happened with Wisconsin football when, like, for 30 years, they've been pretty damn good with Ron Dane-type running backs running it down your throat. And then this yokel local from Cincinnati shows up, and he's like, hey, let's run and shoot, And
Who's that?
What's his nuts?
What voice is that?
It's the guy who was almost the MSU coach. Jason, do you think
Bill Beekman?
Bill Beekman. There you go.
Ryan Schultz. Success can look different and different in different seasons. Last season was absolutely a success. This season, I'd accept a Sweet 16, bow out, and be thrilled to make the Elite Eight next year. It's Final Four or bust. So you'd accept a Sweet 16 bow out?
Well, based on his expectations for this year, everything's relative to expectations. Think about how you felt about the Lions the year that I guess
Super Bowl.
The year they almost didn't quite make the playoffs, but they had that feel good ending. That's not a great example. But there are years where, like, the Pistons are a great example this year. If the Pistons have the best record in the East, get to the second round of the playoffs, they win a series, they get to the second round of the playoffs, lose in 7 games to somebody who looks like they have a little more.
With a guy with a collapsed lung?
With a guy with a collapsed lung, we'll be like, okay, Alan Haller golf clap. Don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to prove?
I'm just saying everything's relative to based on expectations.
But now that we're in the Sweet 16, I want to keep going. I'm not going to be like happy. I won't be like, if they lose to Yukon, I won't be like, I'll be like, fuck, this sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you and Ryan are different. And Ryan might think the same thing in the moment, but he'll get over it thinking that was a good year is all he's saying.
Okay. Corey Ostrom. This show is something else. Corey Ostrom, number 1, the round of 64 was meh. The round of 32 was full of fantastic games. The group of 5 teams are being pushed out by their players, being pilfered, and no cash flow. The new G5 is all teams under $5 million payroll. And 2, the 17th Sweet 16 for Izzo is elite. Winning the weekend means something in a 64-team single elimination tournament for any team. But there is no Elite 8 or Final Four for MSU if Fears and his bandmates continue to turn the ball over in silly ways. Yukon, a tough matchup for Michigan State.
It's amazing to think. I wish Miles Bridges was a more likable character in MSU lore because.
Well, stop punching women. And
I'm not. I'm not
throwing pool balls at women's cars.
Again, it's the $40 reimbursement to an agent who paid for a dinner for his mom or whatever that just seems so ridiculous these days. We're talking about,
Yeah, but there's so many people you can use. We talked Tum Tum when he couldn't even have a Jersey or Jimmy John sandwich in here. So.
Yep. No, it's fine. Yeah, stupid. It was dumb. The round of 32 was fantastic. It was I miss the upsets. I miss the ability to build something and dream, and that's what I think sucks for the low majors and the mid majors, and I think that's bad for the sport. Doesn't mean the Sweet 16 especially with all these really good teams, isn't going to be a lot of fun. Doesn't mean it's still not arguably the best postseason event in sports. It's still great. Just it's not as great as it ever was because there was this period of time where, I don't know, there was a little different type of magic and everybody could dream that they could once do that and you could build year over year. I mean, think about those great Butler teams that did it. And Gordon Hayward, he came back for another year. He would have left to go to some other school. They were in the Horizon League when that thing started. He would have gone to a different school if that had happened nowadays. He would have gone taking an NIL payday. It's still great. It's absolutely great.
Mr. Benjen, I didn't see Saturday's game like you or Izzo. I guess I don't know ball. I saw a small but sustainable lead the entire time. Louisville never really threatened, and MSU responded every time. It was a one-possession game. That is a form of dominance.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, Michigan State controlled the game. This is why game control stats don't work in terms of lead entirely, because Michigan State was up for most of the game between 5 and 9 points, and yet felt like they were the better team, felt like they were controlled. I mean, it's always a little nervy when a team's only up 5 to 9 points and a team like Louisville can hit threes the way they do because you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, I thought Michigan State was in control. They just it felt like that control could be taken away with a couple shots pretty quickly.
David Jackson next. Trey Fort is the missing piece. All Izzo has to do is keep the two freshmen mentally in the game, and Jordan Scott make open shots, and we got this. Yukon has no physical match for Carr. As for Duke, well, why not St. John's? We got this. See you in Indianapolis. Damn, David calling a shot.
If you've got a Trey Fort in your life, somebody who's emerged lately, who's just doing things well, doing life great, feeling good, add to their vibes with a Go Muskox flannel. Go to gomuskox.com. Muskox is the best way to show somebody that you care, show somebody that you're not a complete rube. This is what Jason did with his father-in-law, and it saved his marriage. So if you're in that situation, gomuskox.com. And Peacock for $15 off your flannel purchase. Look your best, feel your best. And I'm telling you right now, if you've got a third chin or you've got man boobs or whatever it might be, Muskox can really help you. Before you hit the gym, buy a Muskox.
Janet in Plymouth, were you able to nail down Denim Wojcik's mysterious age and birthday? It'd be so funny and random if both Woj and Fort are 25. P.S. Awesome clip of Coach Hurley praising Coach Izzo. Our Washington, D.C. region is going to be cinema. Legends Izzo, Hurley, Patino, and well on his way to becoming a legend, Shire.
Shire's a really good coach. He is. It is hard to follow. What's impressive about Shire is that he followed a legend. And a lot of times the guys who do that don't work out. Now, they've got a ton of resources there. The amount of money you hear, and I don't know if it's accurate, that they paid Cooper Flagg last year is like,
Let's say it.
I honestly don't know. It's what, I mean, you've seen.
You had a number on the tip of your tongue. What are we talking? What do you think?
I mean,
10?
No, more.
More than 10?
Yeah.
15?
I've heard more. And I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. That's why I don't want to say it. Right. So, again, so if he's got great resources, which I think he does, that helps. But you still have to be good. You still have to. I think he's a good game coach. I don't think he gets out-coached. And I do not have Wojcik's mysterious birthday. I'll work on finding.
Did someone ask him? Like, dude, we tried looking up your age. Like, it's not a big deal. We're not trying to bust him for any, like, we're the IRS or something. We just want to know. I mean, it's kind of weird.
And how old are you anyway?
Well, I'm just saying, when we Googled you, someone was wondering on the podcast. We were Googling you, and we couldn't find your exact age. Isn't that funny? It's kind of weird.
I don't want to tell anybody I've been Googling them, though.
Well, for a story or something.
Okay,
or, like, on the show. Maybe you have to explain it. Jesus, what are you worried about? After everything you've said on this podcast? That's fair. Kevin from Rochester Hills. Number 1, MSU bench was underutilized during the regular season. And 2, fans who donated to Kentucky's NIL feel like dumbasses.
I mean, that's the downside. If it doesn't work and your coach doesn't get it right, it's
what about Duke, though? What if you paid Cooper Flagg $20 million? Like,
almost
win.
Almost won a national title. And Cooper Flagg's forever associated with Duke. You don't feel like they underachieved like Kentucky this year.
But for $20 million, I'd feel ripped off, though.
Again, I don't know exactly what it is, but I heard it was.
I can get Xavier Booker for 10 times cheaper.
You can.
It's amazing.
You can. Absolutely.
East Coast Marv. A proposed new stat for college hoops, the Mercenary Index. This is defined as follows. Among a team's starting 5, the percent of previous seasons spent at a different school. For the Sweet 16, MSU is the only team with a 0 index. 10 previous seasons among the starting 5 are all were at MSU. Purdue, second lowest at 13% to a 15, and highest index is St. John's, Iowa, Texas, and Michigan, all above 80%. I know it's the new reality, but got to give Izzo props for his culture. We'll never see it again. As a 53-year-old, I still appreciate this every season.
It's one of the things MSU still has going that's just different, and I think it allows people to enjoy or feel connected to the team in ways that are a little more old school. Doesn't mean that's, if that's not a way you can win a title with anymore, doesn't mean that's entirely the right way. I do think there's a mix in how this is built, and I think, I don't think Izzo has entirely gotten that right all the time. But when you look around the country, like, who would you rather be? Who would you rather be? And the problem is there's this one team, Michigan, down the road that's sort of had a perfect roster mix. It's going to be hard to duplicate year over year. And Dusty May deserves a lot of credit for that. But most of the places, it doesn't work quite as well. And occasionally it does, or it's a 50-50 hit rate, like at Illinois and things like that. And you don't get to keep the culture you have, and fans check out as soon as that season's over because they know everybody's leaving and you're going to start over. Or that fans check out as soon as that season isn't quite what they hoped it would be. I still think if you can build within your own and supplement, and that doesn't mean not bringing in an elite player, but ultimately the culture you want to be created within your own program, that's the best way to sustain something year over year, in my opinion.
Matt C. next. It would be awesome if MSU got 20-10 Coen Carr and Jackson Kohler for one game in this tourney. Hopefully they are saving it for Duke. Baked. Duke can be had if Izzo gets out of his feelings and figures out how to carve up that soft, pathetic zone Shire goes to.
This goes back to his Matt C's first one here. Very positive for Matt C anyway. Must be a Sweet 16 going on.
It would be awesome if they could both get 20-10.
But it goes back to sort of what I was saying originally. What's interesting about this team is there are a lot of guys that are capable of breakout games, of big games and big moments. And I don't think anybody thinks that the moment is too big for these guys. But it's also just not something you trust. It's going to be game to game entirely, and people worry, what if nobody has that game? What if it's just fears on that given day? What if nobody's hitting shots? And I think until this team is actually, won a national championship or finished playing, I don't know that trust is ever going to completely be there unless there's, I guess if Coen Carr had 2 more games like the last one he just had, he had 17 in the opener as well, maybe you start to say, okay, this is just who he's going to be in this postseason. And again, to me, it's not about shooting. It's about the rebounding, and I think that feeds a lot of other things, the energy, the defense. And because Coen Carr, with 13 points and 10 rebounds and 2 blocks or whatever, is a performance that can take Michigan State a long way as well.
Rocco in Chicago next. Number 1, somewhere Matt Wenzel is sleeping easy, knowing he will avoid Mick Cronin next weekend. Lucky Matt. 2, people complain about not enough double-seeded upsets, but that was a phenomenal first weekend. Nebraska and Vandy was theater. And 3, the Frozen Four bracket show was pathetically drawn out. Caw to all of them.
It just takes too long for some. There's limited interest in this, and you're already screwing it up by sending people to all over the country. Just tell them where they're going. Just tell them where they're going. Nebraska is a good story too. I like the Nebraska. I love it for their fan base. I think this is Nebraska, Iowa too. Sweet 16.
Yeah.
That's.
I'm not sure if I'm happy for them. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Curtin Chicago, number 1, Mr. March Tom Izzo and ice cold slick Rick Pitino in the Sweet 16 together. So good. I need St. John's versus Michigan State on Sunday. Does Graham have any idea if the 2 Italian descent coaching legends are pals, or is that a Dusty-esque situation? Hypothetical prop bet odds on Tom joining Rick and wearing a suit if we play St. John's in D.C. And 2, underappreciated and undercovered badass thing about college hockey. The studs who will go out, who will go on to the NHL All-Stars playing in the conference tournaments in Frozen Four. Meanwhile, college basketball and football studs are loafing it while stealing NIL and faking injuries to shut it down before the regular season even ends.
Hockey's just more established in how they do things, and obviously adding the Canadian juniors is added a new wrinkle to the top-tier talent in the sport. But, I think college hockey makes quite a bit of sense. I don't know if it would. The thing college hockey has going for it, though, is there's not quite as much money in it, and so it's not as dictated by NIL and other things. I think college hockey would get pretty corrupt as well, and I think there are some issues in it too in terms of like advisors and agents deciding lineups and things like that. But I think it would, if there was a lot more money in it, like college men's basketball, you'd see more of the same issues. Suit for that'd be interesting if Tom Izzo's opposite. Rick Pitino, does he want to look his best? He's
all of a sudden going to wear a suit?
No, he's not going to wear a suit. No, I don't think so. I don't know how close they are. I know, Tom Izzo does not speak ill of Rick Pitino, but I don't know how close they are.
Woot Tang Clan next. It's nice that Izzo has 3 wings to play and sees who gets hot between Fort, Scott, and Tang. One of them should have a good game. And bonus, the traditional bracket pool system is ass. Survivor pools and betting game to game is more fun than losing a bracket pool to some random non-fan.
I still like the traditional bracket pool, but I understand what you're saying. And there's a lot more of this in football, too. There are lots more different kinds of ways to play fantasy and play, different. I get what you're saying. I like the traditional pool, though. It's fun to.
Yeah, I haven't done the Survivor for the NCAA, so.
Yeah, so you just redo it every week is what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of like the NFL.
Okay.
Thing.
Yeah.
Kurt Prutang next. MSU would be the favorite to win it all if Izzo went back to wearing a suit. Hear that, Steven? Make it happen, buddy. Thanks.
Does the suit bother some people? The lack of suit bothers some people. It clearly does.
Yeah, and I can agree with them, but I don't care if that makes sense. Like I know what they're saying. I would vote for coaches to wear suits again, but I don't know. I don't mind seeing Izzo in a because most of the time I look at that, I'm like, oh damn, dude, I want that hoodie. Or not hoodie, but whatever he wears, those under jacket thingies.
Yeah, I mean, everybody
looks... But I'm with the people that want them to bring back the suit.
Everybody looks better in a suit, for the most part. Unless you got a muskox.
Especially if you got money to buy a nice one. Like,
if you don't have a suit, and you're going to a funeral or a wedding, just wear a muskox.
Or if you're Mick Cronin.
Or, yeah, you're right.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Neurotic Pants, maybe losing in the Big Ten tournament and getting some rest while others sweat and expand adrenaline is Izzo and Nightingale's brilliant play. The teams probably aren't up for those games when they know the real tournament starts later. Why waste energy? Early exits are honest in a way.
Right, because if you're not, you can't fake desperation. Look, the conference tournaments are for who are there for. And this Big Ten, it was for a UCLA team that wanted to prove something. It was for a Purdue team that had something to prove still. And those teams did. And I think this was a good year for the Big Ten tournament for fans to sort of really understand how it works, what it's for, and all that stuff. And that's great. And there's nothing wrong with the Big Ten tournament. It has created the Trey Fort experience here. We just need to understand its place, and as long as that's there, then we're good.
TK, putting the hockey game at 1:30 is some bullshit.
Big Ten plus is ass.
On Thursday, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I understand maybe do they not want to go up against NCAA basketball, which is, men and women's basketball, which is going to be at night.
Do you think they even think about any of that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's clearly for TV. Otherwise, 1:30. Who would put 1:30? It just doesn't make sense. I don't. The way they treat college hockey is it's almost like, why do you do this sport if you hate it so much?
Chris, next. Number one, the men's team looked dominant this weekend. If they shoot like that going forward, their ceiling is a title, not a Final Four. And two, I like the draw for hockey, a doubleheader with Yukon in basketball and hockey, then either Dartmouth or Wisconsin. And three, proud of the women's team. We'll get sweetness next year.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on the hockey team, though. That's the one thing, and I think a lot of kind of nervous fans, too, after what happened last year. And until they get over that, and you're always going to be nervous in a single elimination tournament, especially as ridiculous as hockey, because it does just take a bounce. It does take something to go wrong. And this MSU team has, at times, shown a little bit of looseness defensively. They've shown the ability to get behind in a game maybe you think they shouldn't. But my guess is they'll be dialed in. I'm curious to see it. 1:30 on a Thursday. I hope you can get off and do it. What is it on? ESPN 8? Who knows what they actually put it on.
Sparty Barb, number one, gusty game by MSU women's basketball, but fatigue and bad free throw shooting cost us the win. And two, MSU hockey meets and beats Wisconsin in their regional final for a trip to the Frozen Four. And three, Kurtang has to make a minimum of 4 threes to keep us on pace with Mullins. And bonus, Iowa upsets Nebraska for a trip to the Elite Eight.
The fact that Iowa or Nebraska is going to be in the Elite Eight is kind of wild, but. I actually go back to the hockey, Michigan State hockey draw. I do like also that Michigan and Michigan State are on a collision course in the Frozen Four semifinals, not in the finals, the way the bracket sets up. Like, I don't know. I get that it's not football or men's basketball. I just don't think like a national championship Michigan State game is ever healthy for either fan base, and it's just not a place you want to be where losing to one gives the other, you've lost a national championship, the others won it, and they've done it at your expense outright directly. I don't think that's good.
Seathul is Lord next. Expected more from a mostly healthy women's team, but lots to build on for next year. And bonus, not sure hockey will do much as they've lost some spark.
We'll see. The whole year's been built to this moment. So, right? I mean, that's the thing about it. It's been a weird year in that sense. And so now that moment is here. The women's basketball team is, they definitely peaked early. And the schedule was brutal. Now, they played a really weak non-conference schedule, which I don't think helped them. I think they've got to re-examine that. They lose some pieces, but the team they have coming back next year, they have Lily Williams, the 6'7" Michigan Mrs. Basketball, McDonald's All-American coming in. We'll see how ready she is as a true freshman. And, if they get Theron Halleck back, they'll have a three-headed backcourt that's pretty well built for what Robin Freilich wants to do. I think they could take another step next year, but they've taken these really small incremental steps. Right? They were a 9, and I'm not saying 9 to 5 seed is that tiny, but they were a 9 seed and a little bit overmatched in the first year. They were a 7 seed and they won a game, which is a big deal. But then they got hammered by North Carolina State, and this year looked like they were going to be a 4 seed and maybe a Sweet 16 team and get to host those first 2 rounds, and they fall to a 5. And they were much more competitive. They were close. They are a top 20 team, a top 20 program. That's a good place to be, but there's another step, and we got to see if they can take it.
Delonda Bryce of Southern Maine next. Best, I'm a coward that doesn't watch MSU games live. I assumed from the final score it was a good win. The message board and social media told me I was wrong. How bad was that win? Also, best, since my wife wouldn't let me pursue Jordan Scott's mom, I hope Dominic hooks up with her. She is super fly.
I can't believe this has become a bit. It's going to be like the...
Wait, so you don't watch the games live?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's intense.
But then you go to message boards and social media.
The message boards are wrong here. I mean, there was a good performance. Were they perfect? I mean, were there some turnovers? But it looked like a lot of Michigan State games we've seen deep in NCAA tournaments where they're playing well. And they looked determined and focused and played really well defensively.
But if they play the way they did against Louisville, can they beat Yukon?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen Yukon look like absolute dog shit a couple times. So I don't, Yukon's better than Louisville. There's no question about that. But I don't know. I don't think Louisville played that poorly. I think, even their coach afterwards didn't think so. I mean, I think Michigan State played pretty well. The message boards might not know what they're talking about.
Bottom line is,
or just might be the wrong thread.
I could see that game going one way or the other.
Perspective Sparty, at what point will the toxic Spartan Twitter and some of your listeners admit they should just shut their pie hole and start doubting Izzo? Is a Final Four even good enough? I have a suspicion most are degenerate teenagers.
We do have to remember that if you are under, how old do you have to be to this point to remember an NIT? You have to be almost 40 years old to remember an NIT at Michigan State, which is pretty amazing.
This thing again.
What do you want? What do you want?
What do you want? What are we supposed to say? Not say anything at all? We do a fucking podcast, and we have to have people say stuff after games. It's not that we want Izzo fired. How many times do we have to repeat this and regurgitate it?
I just think
you know what I mean. We're not saying it's Izzo, get out of here, or fire Izzo, or anything. We're just sitting there questioning Denim Wojcik here and there.
My point is,
I know, but God damn it, what are you supposed to talk? Why are we toxic? You're just, you know what I mean. Just ask a question.
My point is just this: that I think, understandably so, there is a large chunk, a growing chunk, because you got to be of age. That's a fairly entitled chunk of Michigan State's
entitled. I appreciate everything Izzo's ever done. How many times?
Old as fuck, man.
Every time we go on the show, I got to be like, oh
no,
man,
not you.
27 straight.
If you're over 40, you've been there, man.
Yeah.
If you've been to an NIT game, you have a feeling about this. It's different.
Vested.
Yeah,
I have the right to complain. Complaining here and there. We praise when they do well. Absolutely, it can go both ways. It is possible to have two lines of thinking when you're watching a team game in and game out for these long-ass seasons. It's possible. Stop paying attention to the assholes, Professor. The All-Big Ten Final Four in Indy is going to be the most expensive ticket in the history of the event. Oh, my God, that's true. Bonus, watching the NCAA tournament in quad boxes on YouTube TV is the best way to watch the same 3 shitty Boozer Brother ads as many times as possible.
There are a lot of repeated commercials.
Do these guys that do these ads, though, they don't, how many times are they going to air these? You have to think about that.
My wife we were complaining last night where she does not mind, obviously it's my job. I had to watch the MSU women's game. I wanted to watch it too, but I wanted the sound on. I was watching.
As soon as that game's over, though, get that TV out of here.
Well, it's the commercials that drive her nuts, and it partly drives her nuts because she's like, God, we've seen this commercial 3 times. I can't. She's trying to work on other stuff. It's like, so I try to mute the commercials just and I might not have to. Like, listen to this ad, folks. I might be able to listen to your ad, listen to what you're selling if you didn't sell it to me 3 times. That's all I'm saying, All
right, do a live read.
Speaking of that, right, let me tell you right now, there's no better way to watch the NCAA tournament than a Muskox flannel. Seriously, though, if you are, starting to plan your spring, want to be outdoors, want to be in, backyards, you want to watch the games on, you want to opening day, whatever you're going to do, go to gomuskox.com and get yourself a flannel. You'll look better, you'll feel better, and I'm telling you,
we're such hypocrites.
We
I
are.
love it.
I'm going to see how long it's like a filibuster. See how long I can go with this one.
Yeah.
No, but I go places where people comment. I mean, they're of that quality that like attractive nurses have commented on my flannel when I'm in doctor's offices. We talked about this recently.
Even the ugly ones, he said. He told me that off air.
I did not say that off air.
Iman Sinner, I'll die on this hill. Filling out more than one bracket is lame. Make your bad picks and stand by your steaming mess of a bracket like a man.
How many brackets do you usually fill out?
I filled out one this year, I think.
I did too. So every once in a while,
only because we did the contest. I got to say I didn't, do any others.
Every once in a while, my bracket will be slightly different because I forget one of my picks when I'm doing separate ones, different places. But usually they're pretty. Yeah, but
usually I'll do a Michigan State bracket.
Yeah,
and then if something happens, we bow out. Then I have another bracket. I've done that.
You have a heart and head bracket.
Yep,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That makes complete sense. Let's take a really quick break. We come back. More of your hot takes. Couch and the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels.
Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch and the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch and the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. If you're looking for a relaxed vibe, great food, and an outstanding beer selection, Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing is your place. Enjoy their famed chicken and waffle fries, fish and chips, or any of their delicious burgers or salads. Midtown Brewing Company also offers 40-plus beers on tap, including ciders and seasonal offerings and daily happy hour specials. The spacious and cozy vibe makes Midtown Brewing Company a perfect place for a beer with a friend, a work lunch, or to watch the games on its big screen TVs. If you'd rather eat at home, Midtown Brewing Company offers a terrific carry-out menu and free delivery on orders of $20 or more. Visit MidtownBrewingCompany.net or stop by 402 South Washington in downtown Lansing for the Midtown Brewing Company experience.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. Visit gomuskox.com where Couch in the Rube listeners can get $15 off a flannel purchase with the promo code Peacock. All right, back to your hot takes.
Parker Weiss next. If MSU can send that tantrum-throwing, whiny, arrogant douchebag fuck Dan Hurley packing on Friday night while sending him into a rage tizzy, it would be Breslin banner worthy, in my opinion. Double Yukon. Hoops and hockey just seems like kind of effed up if you ask me. I don't want to have to hurt Huskies 2 days in a row this week. I love dogs, but I suppose we have to. Oh, well, go green, go God.
The
What?
Oh,
shit!
I was waiting for it.
Lord,
Let's go green. Oh God!
turn the button off, asshole. God, I suck sometimes.
No, it's sorry. We've all been there.
Holy hell!
Sometimes
5-second delay here. Sorry.
Sometimes I find myself in the middle of a live read and I can't remember what I've said or where I'm going. It's what happens.
Yay.
Yeah. No, I think so. Banner worthy if they send Hurley home.
How do you put that banner up?
Yeah, just
be kind of wordy.
Sent Dan Hurley home.
Yeah, whiny
put
bitch.
it up there.
By the way, Steven Izzo just texted me about the Wilson basketball thing we talked about earlier. Yeah. He said Wilson basketballs are being used. We switch balls to whatever brand teams use throughout the season.
Oh, so as they're playing. So that's how detailed they are. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good info from Steven Izzo.
Lancelot Spartan, I see Hurley is already playing mind games with Izzo by talking him up. How do we combat this strategy? I think you should give Izzo a warning at the presser.
Those two like each other. It's funny. Izzo said today about Hurley. So one of the things he likes is most people have to talk him off the ledge, but Hurley's the one who overreacts so much and goes off the deep end that
it's just too much.
It is too much. It's too much.
It's like watching Luka play basketball. It's just every
it's a turn
bitch.
Off.
Yeah. It's like,
what he did in Maui a year ago was just really immature. It wasn't fun. Now, I'm not saying he's not a great coach. I'm not saying he doesn't care about his players. I'm not saying any of that. He's won 2 national championships. I'm just saying he's kind of annoying to watch it sometimes, and I don't always love the behavior. By the way, I tweeted out the photo of it, but Steven Izzo and Mark D'Antonio interviewed on local news in Buffalo at the Niagara Falls. Pretty fantastic.
I know Coach D looked excited.
Yeah, he looked thrilled. He's wearing the.
It's exactly how you should look. I think
wearing the poncho like he's about to
falls.
get ready to go out in a barrel there. It's
like, is it really that fun going to that?
I've done the Maid of the Mist. I like it. Yeah, I've had a good time.
I know, but you don't. Your version of fun is different than mine.
Yeah, it's true. I think you and Teresa both enjoy it. It's cool. I mean, you're in the falls. Yeah, there you go. We'll do it for
her. Jonathan Smith's burner. Number 1, Tom Izzo is the most scrutinized, legendary college basketball coach of all time. The level of consistency is unreal, and I've never expensed MSU men's basketball to miss the dance. Experience. I think this is fucked up here. I think you did something dirty to me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I never experienced MSU men's basketball.
Expense. Yeah, it's my bad. I didn't edit that one well.
I do suck, but that wasn't me. 2, the new flag football thing is stupid as hell.
What is the new flag football thing?
They aired it on Fox. Was it yesterday or Saturday? Tom Brady. No one gives a shit. I don't know. See, there you go.
Yeah,
you had no idea, and you would have had to bust out a third TV, and the wife would have been pissed.
The amount of times they try to do something with football in the spring, it just doesn't. It's just so hard to do a second football league because, first of all, we have college football, we have the NFL, we have.
Yeah, but you know the dead parts of the season. Like you could get me to maybe have it on a second TV if there's nothing else happening.
Well, that's the problem. That's
pretty pockets.
Yeah, not a lot though. You'd rather watch an interesting Tigers game though at this time of year than a secondary football.
But I do have two. Like I have 2 TVs, so I'm saying hypothetically, if it was down to the nothing's on, I'm like, let me see what's going on.
Yeah,
but not during March Madness and golf is on. Like, what are we talking about?
That's what I'm saying. The pockets are few. Like, there are pockets. You're right. There are weekends that happen where you go, boy, there isn't a whole lot happening right now. There's
like Tuesday. Tonight, there's going to be TGL. The finals of TGL are on.
That is something I would watch football up against. Yeah, right.
We don't have anything on tonight. T likes watching it, so we're going to have it on tonight. David and Charlevoix. The refs this tourney have been incredibly one-sided in the games I've been able to watch, as if they have marching orders. Am I reaching, or is it likely OG Tom Izzo gets us a very favorable whistle on Friday? to set up an Izzo versus Duke or Izzo versus Patino must-see Sunday game. And bonus, just discovered my wife shares her phone's GPS location 24/7 with several dozen other female friends and neighbor groups at both of our houses. The invasiveness blew me away. Then my kids said they share theirs with literally all of their huge friend groups at all times via various apps. Are you fellas and your spouses doing this too? I don't get the point. I'm feeling like an out-of-touch dinosaur.
Do you share your location with Teresa?
No.
Does she share her location with you?
If she's traveling sometimes.
Okay.
But we forget more than we remember. I do like to know when she is traveling. She does travel for work. So that would be but I don't really give a shit where I just want to make sure like she's okay.
Yeah, Elizabeth and I share our locations in part because like it keeps me from calling her, like not knowing how long, when is she going to be home or that's it's helpful to like, I know she's on the way back from a work thing in Detroit. I look there, okay, she's near the Williamston exit. I got 20 minutes to do the dishes. Yeah, there we go.
Teresa will just tell me like, when are you coming home? Like, so then she'll say 4 and I go, okay, I got to get the house cleaned by about 1 o'clock.
Elizabeth shares her location and with another family separately that they all have. Yeah, no, it's I mean, they're friends of mine
family.
Too. No, it's our friend Tova and her husband and daughter.
Okay, now that you named them all, why are they sharing locations with each other?
We've known. It's a great question. We're very close. They were our bubble family during the height of the pandemic. We travel with them sometimes. Like we just know each other well. Uh-huh. I don't share my location with them, but they share whatever. It's harmless stuff. So I don't.
It is.
Why is it not? Unless you're doing something.
It is. I meant it is. Yeah. It is.
Unless you're doing something.
It's fascinating though.
Right.
Wait, they were your bubble family. What does that mean? So you guys didn't have COVID, so you can hang out with each other? I mean, like they
were like the one family during the height of COVID that would come over and hang out in the house, right?
I thought you weren't supposed to hang out in the height of COVID, though.
That's why you had a bubble family.
I didn't know you could do that.
You could have a bubble family.
Oh my God, COVID. Wait, but so you don't? So this family doesn't know where you are, though.
Well, they don't. Yeah, I don't give them permissions. I don't. That's weird to me. Like it's not weird for Elizabeth, but it's weird to me. Because it'd be different. I mean, I don't know.
That is fat, dude. You say that I withhold stories, but man, you tell me some shit every other show that I'm just fascinated by. It's amazing. Scotty Green's El Camino. Number 1, I have no idea what to think about the hockey team. Could easily see them losing the first game or winning 4 straight for the Natty with Augustine stopping everything. Have to imagine last year's experience will help. And 2, Couch, as the gayest straight guy we know, ranked the Sweet 16 Big Ten coaches based on their looks. Sorry, your crush, Greg Gard, is out.
Oh, this is too bad.
Yeah, Gard's the number 1 seed.
All right, so, well, Fred Hoiberg's a 1 seed, right? Fred Hoiberg's
for you, yeah.
Best looking. Well, is he not for you?
I mean, yeah, all right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fred Hoiberg's a good looking man. So after Fred Hoiberg,
it sucks. Fran McCaffrey's out.
Yeah,
that's another hot guy.
Give me. This is tricky.
All right,
is Dusty May 2?
Too weird.
I'm
not gay enough for
question.
I'm not gay.
Yeah. I don't.
Sorry, it stops at Freddie Hoiberg.
Freddie Hoiberg's clear number 1, but then we don't know.
Ken Chu, winning plays for St. John's and Iowa were crazy. Gallant effort by MSU women. Bring on Yukon. It's more of a comment, really.
Yeah, well, but it's a take. That's what half these things are questions and they're supposed to be takes. So who knows? Yeah, it was like, yeah,
there you go.
I don't know where to go with this. Thank you, Ken. We love you.
The worst answer in podcast history. Spartan Frank next. Would you rather play Yukon than Iowa State or Houston? A tough game, no doubt, but I think we open as a 3.5 point dog against those two. And bonus, Graham, why does no one talk about how Yaxel Lendenborg is playing his 6th season of college hoops? His 3 JUCO years somehow count as 1 division in 1 year. It's a joke. Division 1 year. What? Somehow count as 1 Division 1 year. Sorry.
Okay, hold on.
Hot in here.
I don't think he played 3 junior college.
Now find his age.
34. So you is it? Hold on. So playing 102. So hold on. I'm going to his NJCAA profile here.
Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Come on. Heading into twilight, spreading out her wings tonight.
So I think it has something to do with, obviously he played in 14 games at Arizona Western 2021, but that's the COVID year. So, right, that year doesn't count against you. So that's why. The real question with him, though, is, so this is what it must be. Because he only started in 4 games, played 14, whatever percentage that was, that's a good question. I'm looking at this now, because 21, it's a really good question. I don't know.
Get Matt Macarini on it.
Maybe he's not eligible. This whole Michigan thing could fall apart.
Breaking story. Peplowski's D-brace next. I see MSU open as a 1-point dog. MSU should be about +5 or 6. This is the worst opponent possible in this bracket for this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
line wrong there.
Tough. Yeah, I don't know.
I would love to take 5.
I saw Michigan State as a 1-point favorite originally, right? I don't know.
I thought that's what it opened at.
Yeah, as a favorite, right? Yeah, this is a game that I would not advise people to take MSU. There are moments I would tell people MSU is a smart play. Like if you find 3.5 as the over/under for season wins in football next year, just based on their history, that's probably a pretty good play, even though they haven't always made it. Yeah. By the way, if Izzo is looking for a way to get Carson Cooper another year of eligibility,
yep,
I think the Yaxel Lendenborg argument is the man has played as many games as
we got it then.
Is Cooper more interesting.
Graham Couch says Carson Cooper coming back possibly next year.
Yeah, maybe I just missed a story on Lendenborg. I clearly did because I don't really understand how he's still eligible.
Man, it's going to be so great to have Carson back. Are you going to tell him? Rich Searing, I haven't seen Yukon play. Tell me all about our matchup with them. This guy. What is their kryptonite? How do we stack up against them? Who is the one team in this entire tournament that we definitely don't want to face?
I don't know that there is a team that Michigan State doesn't want to face. The Alex Caravan is the guy that I think is the most interesting, difficult matchup for them. But Terrace Reed, I mean, there have been teams with low post guys that have caused MSU problems. Not as much this year. There haven't been as many teams they've faced that could really have good. Like Terrace Reed, though, is a different player than he was at Michigan. They've got good length on the wing at guard. I mean, they've got a lot of good players. But I just think the Caravan matchup is the one that is sort of the most interesting to watch how Michigan State handles it. And my guess is it's Coen Carr.
Alex Mayer next. Number 1, maybe ignorantly, I actually like the Yukon matchup more than UCLA. Not saying it's easy, just feel better about it. See, Alex and I both baked last night.
Yeah.
2, that said, Graham, if you and Caravan end up in a stairwell together, you know the move.
Yeah, it never happened the first time. So
Caravan's gay?
Can't happen the second time, and wouldn't happen for that reason either. So none of it happened.
I love that you have to deny it every time.
If me and Caravan, if the two of us wind up in a stairwell together, I will wrap him in a muskox flannel and
then shove him.
I didn't say that.
All right, Daniel R. Patterson next. Yukon is a better draw for MSU than playing UCLA again. The rugged, hustling Spartans from the Big Ten will beat Yukon from the weaker Big East. And bonus, even with Cade out for a spell, the Pistons will still win the East. But Detroit needs Cade back in the playoffs to win the NBA championship. Finally, it was a decent season for MSU women's hoops. Playing on your home court in the women's tourney needs to end. Make it neutral sites.
So I want the NCAA hockey tournament to be on campus sites, and you're saying to move the women's tournament off campus sites. That stuff doesn't. I don't think there is enough traveling fan base yet. I think it's still too much to put on them, and part of that is because the men's tournament exists at the same time. There are lots of. It's one of the reasons I think the Big Ten tournament, if you could logistically do it, would be ideal to have both. It'd be hard to do logistically, but have both in the same city the same week, because there are extra fans who will be there and would love to support the women's team. And it just helps to have, look, I've been in those arenas when it is neutral site because, for example, when Michigan State played Colorado State, it was neutral site in Oklahoma. When Michigan State played North Carolina and in South Carolina, it was relatively neutral site. And the crowd size, I mean, you're not going to do that for 4 matchups. You still got to have a host school, and that's why they went to 2 regionals, frankly, instead of 4, because they're able to have more fans in one area, and it's just the reality of the situation right now. Maybe 10 years from now they can revisit it. I don't think we're there yet.
Tyler, if Iowa can beat Florida, I've goddamn seen it all. Go Green, go God.
Let's go Green, go God.
I was stunned by that. So was my bank account.
Ooh. Jay Riemenschneider. Few shows ago, someone asked why would Michigan fans listen to a podcast focused on MSU. Well, I can say for this Michigan fan, Graham is the reason. He's insightful, unbiased, deep thinking, and nuanced on all topics, including the rivalry discussion. And it fits my mentality to a T. Yep, 69 sesh.
Jay Riemenschneider, you win a gift card.
Fuck, he does.
That
is the grossest thing I've ever heard.
That's amazing, Jay. That is amazing. It is not
disgusting.
My burner. Yeah, Jay, you're appreciated. Yeah.
There's no way anyone feels that way.
Well, I'm copying this down from my obit.
Especially a Michigan fan. Like, I don't even, yeah.
Remember this in my obit. Insightful, unbiased, deep thinking, and nuance.
I think it's Jay's bit. He just wants to be as annoying as possible.
No, you're not annoying at all, Jay.
Well, to you, yeah, because he's kissing your, fluffing your balls.
Nobody thinks you're annoying.
Yeah, I do. I do. Jay Riemenschneider is annoying.
Nope.
Big John Hogg, number 1, back to last Monday's show. I'm a middle school teacher. Everything you guys said was absolutely true. I drown in a pool of puberty every day. My students aren't really people. Little shitheads. 2, St. John's is a nightmare of a matchup for us, and baked Easter food is greater than Thanksgiving food.
The ham, the Easter ham?
Yeah.
But in the turkey?
I'd be down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although we can have ham on Thanksgiving, too. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some good Thanksgiving meals. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Yeah. I love his middle school take. I'm telling you, if you talk to people, I mean, I didn't come up with that take on my own. It was from my sister who works with middle schoolers. If you talk to people who teach middle schoolers, like it is an interesting age in life.
But my question, though, like with all these teachers like having sex with students now, like if you're a decent-looking teacher.
What are we doing? Where's this going?
What do you mean? Like parents have to look, if you're a decent-looking teacher now in 2026, right? There's no way you can teach, like, I just feel like you're definitely, there's every time you look at the NewYorkPost.com, there's always a teacher having sex with a student.
You can be an appropriate person. I get
that, but people's minds are going to think, is what I was saying.
You shouldn't be a teacher.
I wouldn't bang any student. What do you mean? I could be a teacher. I wouldn't teach them anything that would make any sense to them, but I definitely wouldn't be having any sex with students. What are you trying to say?
That's what I'm saying. I think most people...
I would be a good teacher. I'd be fun. I just wouldn't teach them anything.
Most people can teach students without having sex.
Why are you asking? Like, it's just a hypothetical.
You brought it up.
I understand. It's just I feel like if you're a decent looking teacher now and you're a female, all the parents are going to be like, the dads are going to be like, oh yeah, I wonder if she's banging students, huh? I mean, come on, it just crossed their mind. I'm not saying they would accuse. I thought this was a safe space. I thought I could bring up things that cross my mind sometimes, and you give me exactly what T gives me when I say it. I said the same thing in the freaking living room, and it got the same fucking response. I just want to be where I'm loved. Come on. It's just a thought.
You are loved here.
Guess so.
That was a disturbing thought.
Kurt Wisniewski. If Trey Fort can give MSU 15 to 20 minutes a game with the effort from the last 2 games, look out Yukon and St. John's.
Yeah, they're sort of getting to the point where they're relying on him. The only way they wouldn't need it is if...
Well, don't tell him that.
Well, if
Trey, we're not going to rely on. Come on.
If you get a great Jordan Scott game, like if he had a game, or if somebody... They need somebody to have a moment. The thing I think that's important, and I forget who brought it up just recently, but one of our esteemed listeners here, it gives them one more possibility of having a guard who really has a game they can count on. Look, if it happens to be Kurt Tang goes off from 3, that's fine. If it happens to be Jordan Scott, has a really good game, that's great. Trey Fort gives you one more possibility of it happening, and he does have a little more complete game than Kurt Tang. Not just defensively, a little more handle, but not, it's been a big help. There's no question about it.
Darwin Heavy D. Williams next. Hot take. Michigan State is a more dangerous 3 seed than most of the 1 seeds, yet we are still not a title contender. Why not?
No, I think at this point, if you're left in the Sweet 16 and you're not named Iowa or Texas, you're probably a title contender, right? Is anybody... I mean, St. John's people think could beat Duke. Like anybody in the East right now, if they won the national title, it would not be shocking beyond anything.
So you're saying Iowa, that was kind of a fluke?
Well, I'm not saying. I just don't see them repeating it. Yeah. I mean, I don't see them beating more teams of that caliber.
Texas, God, came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So, but most of who's left at this point, if you're in the Sweet 16, and I know we always say there are only 8 or so can win it. I think there are more this year. The real question is consistency of performance over time. I think just about everybody who's left could win another game.
What's the Texas coach name? What's his? The guy owes me money. It's the one time I don't bet on him this year.
The Xavier in Arizona coach, Sean. What's his nuts?
I was thinking Rick Barnes for some reason.
No, Rick Barnes of Tennessee.
Fuck him.
He owes you money.
He does.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sean Miller.
Yeah. Izzo for Prez. What kind of media training does MSU give our players? They seem to say all the right things during interviews.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have...
Don't look through Graham Couch. That's the first thing they're told.
That guy. Don't talk to him. Don't say anything. You know, a couple things. One, I mean, they do have people who are, sports information directors and people who talk to them and tell them, the questions they might get and the things that might be smart to say. But a lot of these guys, and this is why open locker rooms are good, because they're just used to talking to the media. They're used to talking to reporters. They're used to not saying dumb shit. They're good in conversations. They're good at answering questions. They don't feel uneasy about it. They don't, and it's because it's just repeated. And when they get in professional environments, in sports or anything else, they're just more comfortable in those sort of settings. I think it's
like when your parents and their friends would come around and you just knew to change your mentality.
Yes.
It just automatically shifts.
And those guys figured it out. And very few guys have really had an issue with that. And, I mean, you grow up and you watch what other people do and you say what's, you understand. You have an adult asking you a question that might be printed somewhere. You don't say dumb shit.
I don't know about an adult.
What do you? I mean, I felt all of Fred Human.
Rug and Tub. I like our matchup versus you. Did I read this already? No. Rug and Tub. I like our matchup versus Yukon better than UCLA. Our bigs versus theirs is a better matchup than our guards versus UCLA's. But their full court press worries me with our turnover habits. And prediction, I sense a low and excited Graham when we all white Nebraska versus Iowa matchup tips off. Oh, are you just doing it for him?
Nebraska is not. It's not completely all white. It's not as bad as the year I covered Western Michigan. I think 2008, covering Western Michigan when I lived in Kalamazoo. Mm-hmm. And at one point, an all white starting lineup in solidarity or whatever it was shaved their heads.
Smart.
And looked completely like a bunch of skinheads out there. It was like it was the worst. I was like, guys, it was embarrassing to cover them. I didn't want to. Yeah, it was not great.
Quite the memory. Peasy. Some of the late game execution Sunday was horrible. Kansas on D and Florida offensively comes to mind. Hope Izzo has them ready should it come down to the final possession. And bonus, Arne Slot. I will see you in hell.
Slot is the Liverpool coach, and they are struggling.
It's right my first thought when I don't know what it is. I'm like,
soccer.
It's got to be soccer.
It's got to be soccer for sure.
Some guy named Slot.
What did you think of the Todd Golden, the Florida coaches? What he said later about the Iowa final play against Iowa is they were up 2 and they were planning to foul. Up 2.
Why would they foul?
Right. The idea is you get the ball back. They've still got to make 2 free throws. I think it was a 1-on-1 situation, right? So the idea is the playing some advanced math, that makes more sense than just playing defense, giving up a 3 or 2. I would have to see those numbers. That seems insane.
But then you can't lose, right? But then, I mean, what if
you can't lose and you
hit
the ball,
first and then miss the second tip in, I guess.
And if you fouled like 7 seconds to go, which I think they were trying to do, that you get the ball, worst case scenario, tied with 7 seconds to go. I don't know.
I'll leave it to you smart guys, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Felipe Mendez next. Number 1, Hotspurs poop the bed on Sunday. It's going to be amazing to see them get relegated. And 2, I bet the Wings to make the playoffs at the beginning of the season. They are doing their best to ruin it for me.
I did too. I'm hold on. Let me get these.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Red Wings gambling update with Gravanito Couch and Jason Lee.
Yeah, so they're out of the playoffs, right? If it ended today, is that right? Jesus,
does it end today?
It does not end today, but it's the first time I've looked in a long time that they would not be in the playoffs if it ended today, which is
it ends
remarkable.
Today.
It does not.
Original Dark Mantonio. Michigan was up on St. Louis by 7 points with 12 minutes to go. I come back, they were up 25 with 5 minutes left. The offensive explosiveness and defensive intensity that they've had all year is the reason they are a good bet to win it all. And the Michigan women have those abilities too. And bonus, Xfinity Multi-View was made for March Madness. It is awesome.
There's the live read I needed, right?
Is this Jay Riemenschneider again?
No. Good stuff. The Michigan women don't quite have the size, I don't think. I mean, they've got a really nice core of sophomores, and if they can, it's a heck of a team. I don't think they quite have the size to win a national title. The most impressive thing about Michigan is that they dominated a league with 6 teams in the Sweet 16. Like, if you put it like that, that's why you should probably pick.
Frank Vashner next. Number 1, not sure which game was better on Sunday. Slick Rick beating Dollar Bill Self or Iowa knocking off Florida. And 2, more likely to get fired, Hubert Davis or Mark Pope. And baked. Todd Golden is a jackass for having Florida defend that way with a 1-possession lead late. And bonus take, have either of you seen the shot clock proposal for high school basketball in Michigan? It's going to happen in the next 5 years. I'm not arguing for or against it, but the arguments against it are asinine.
You showed a graphic of them. It takes away some of the strategy. It's stupid. There's no reason not to have a shot clock.
What strategy? The 4 corners?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All the strategies are ass.
Yeah. Have a shot clock.
Yeah.
Have a shot.
And then they blame it on how expensive it's going to cost and getting people to run it. It's just bullshit.
Have a shot clock.
Yeah.
Who would you fight? Like, if you were a North Carolina or Kentucky fan, would you
Pope.
fire both? Pope, yeah.
Yeah. I just think Davis can turn things around there. Mark Pope just doesn't seem like Kentucky, like a fit there. I don't know.
I mean, he's a Kentucky guy, but
I understand.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem like it's in this day and age, is Mark Pope the kind of guy that's going to get the same level? I mean, these guys, they're used to Calipari kind of recruiting. And I don't know if Mark Pope can do that.
He had a huge roster. He just didn't construct it right. This is why it's hard to do it that way, the mercenary way. And
but see, that you have to tell me like who you're going to replace him with, though, too, right?
Right.
You get rid of a guy like Hubert Davis, who are you going to put in there?
Go get the Iowa coach.
Richard Kane, number 1, bedazzled Hornets hat, a greasy Kangol, Bulls practice jersey with just BJ on the back, a rhinestoned Iowa jersey. These items must be found so we can have an auction to raise money for the Lansing Promise. Sky's the limit. And 2, for what it's worth, my top 3 sporting events. Number 1, March Madness. 2, Stanley Cup playoff. And 3, Tour de France. Oh, fuck. You were going good until Tour de France. Really? Is Lance Armstrong back? Why would
you ever watch the Tour de France on TV?
You're not doing it either. I'm not listening to you. Non-annual, number 1, Olympics, 2, World Cup, and 3, World Baseball Classic. Stop with the Tour de France.
I've tried to watch the Tour de France. It's hard. It doesn't do it for me. It's
I'm not shitting on biking. It's yes, you have to be an athlete to do it. I'm not, but you put it on TV. You don't know what's happening. They're riding in packs of groups. You have no what are they doing? They're talking to each other. They're smoking cigarettes on the bikes or something. It's like, what's happening? And it goes on for 9 weeks, and they don't let them do steroids anymore. That was when it was fun. We paid attention then. Travis Maynard, MSU is the only Sweet 16 team with a homegrown starting 5. Every other team has transfers. Most have 3 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
You want the show to be over or something? I don't know. I don't know what to give you here.
No. Yeah, it is true. It's a good take, and that's.
I'm just saying. I give you my whole Tour de France thing.
It was a good.
I couldn't even get up. It's just the silence was deafening.
I didn't want to cut in. That's what I was saying. It was really good. It was really good. You were on a roll. I didn't want. All I could do was ruin it. That's what I was saying. Yeah, no, it's what Michigan State's doing is different, and if they could, if Izzo could win this way, doing it his way, it would be I think be even sweeter for him.
John in the desert, best take. Mick Cronin would be much more pleasant with a groovy donut. I doubt it. Baked take. Florida hoops defense suckered on a 4th down. Iowa wheel route inbound play. Kirk Ferentz style upset win.
Just total coaching mismatch.
Get credit
final play.
Stop with Kirk Ferentz too. He doesn't get any credit for this shit. Bores us all year. He doesn't get credit.
Mick Cronin with that. That right there is what Matt Wenzel should have done. Are
you raising your voice at me?
Yeah, he should just stuffed a groovy donut in his mouth right there.
Legendary.
Incredible. Yes.
The GoFundMe.
Yes.
He would have got in support.
Okay, so.
Man, could have retired, Wenzel.
I just got a from a guy I played basketball with on the Tour de France. He says, Got to say, your take on the Tour de France is way off. One of the best events to watch during the slog of summer when there's absolutely nothing else on. It's a fantastic watch after you see the Tour de France Unchained on Netflix. So maybe we just need more knowledge, is all I'm saying.
Fuck my life. No, it's not true. But, I mean, your friend is fine. Whatever.
A lot of people like it. We don't have to,
right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Couch on Fire was the Yukon versus UCLA game, the All Anger Management Classic. And bonus, Izzo, Calipari, and Patino in the Sweet 16, the Paisano Classic.
Yeah. UConn. I didn't see Yukon UCLA live, and when I watched most of it back, I was just kind of fast forwarding, so I didn't notice. Were there any great anger moments? I didn't notice. But
Cronin got a tech.
See, I missed that too. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Hurley did, but I mean, it was pretty much the same shit. But yeah, Cronin got a tech.
That does not surprise.
Yeah. Jake Hawkins, number one, great showing by MSU in the opening weekend of March Madness. Bleacher Report said that they were on upset alert in the first round against North Dakota State. I'm really fascinated with the matchup against Yukon and Dan Hurley. I hope the officials for Friday night are ready for both coaches' antics. And two, great three quick takes on the MSU women's basketball going out in the second round last night against Oklahoma. Damn good first half, but the second half, especially the third quarter, where the ladies couldn't buy a bucket. If everyone comes back next season, I'm confident in Freilich. And three, rest in peace, Chuck Norris. I don't really have a joke of his. What's your guy's favorite? Walker, Texas Ranger was a favorite of mine and still is. The opening theme, Eyes of the Ranger, is iconic and 90s nostalgic, plus unique because Chuck and his brother Aaron wrote and performed it.
Beautiful.
The Hawk. There actually was, but here's a bonus. There actually was a reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger on the CW. It was called Walker and starred Jared Padalecki, who was on Supernatural. Walker was a completely different twist and storyline with the same character. Was somewhat decent, but not the same as the original. It's on HBO Max.
The original Walker, Texas Ranger was legit fun. Like, I enjoyed it.
It was?
It was good. It was like, I mean, it was very much of it was like an action movie Hallmark style show. It was not bad. I
love the passion that Hawk has. I wish I could get the passion for just certain shows, period, that Hawk has. I mean, it's so, warms my heart. And finally, Hans Jurgens, right? He's done. Number one, MSU and Go Blow will play in the final, and Fears will cock-punch Dusty May after hitting the winning shot, replacing Draymond as the biggest basketball villain of all time. And two, Trey Fort has the freshest legs in competitive basketball. And three, the chalk tournament. NIL has killed the Cinderella. Is that true? NIL? Killed?
It's damaged greatly. Yeah.
Is that it?
Oh, no, there's one more.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. Did you see Nebraska switch to a zone in the final minutes to beat Vandy? Show Izzo the tapes. The tapes. Help me. Help Izzo.
I don't think Michigan State's going to a zone. If Izzo's got a zone, he's holding it for the national championship game, which would be the ultimate thing. If Izzo gets to a title game and throws out a zone for the first time in, 30-some years, that would be the ultimate chess move.
I'm not nuts. They're nuts.
By Tom Izzo. We appreciate all of you for producing our show, and your Tour de France takes are appreciated. They're welcome here. As Jason said earlier, this is a safe space. So for every take, including Jason's teachers sleeping with students takes.
Right.
We appreciate our friends at Muskox Flannels. Go muskox.com, where you can find a variety of great flannel offerings. Find the one that makes your eyes pop. Most of the blues make my eyes pop, by the way. And, of course, we will be back on Wednesday. I think we'll have to figure out the rest of the week. I'll be traveling, but Wednesday I think we'll be back with a show. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.